here's something a talk show host doesn't say every day. In fact, here's something a talk show host has never said before. At the White House on Sunday, Secret Service agents discovered a white powder and evacuated the White House until they found out that white powder was simply cocaine. It's okay. So it wasn't there to blow up, but it was blow. And so we got that going for us. Now, I'm not going to tie this to Hunter Biden. I think it is unfair. There are a lot of creeps in the White House that might be doing cocaine. They say that it was most likely dropped, and I think most likely might be a stretch. Let's actually look at all of the facts before we decide on who it was. Could have been somebody that was visiting, could have been a family member, could have been a million things. Could have been the aliens that they have hinted at and told us but haven't told us are visiting the White House with cocaine. Don't know. But earlier they said that Hunter Biden was at the White House until Friday. They found it on Sunday, and they say the White House is thoroughly searched every day. And so they didn't see the white powder, and they said they think it's most likely that it was dropped by a tourist. And I know in my drug years, I was so sloppy with my really expensive cocaine baggie. What do I really drop? Okay, maybe somebody dropped it. They also said it's a possibility somebody planted it. Okay, that would be weird. Maybe we could dust it for prints because maybe there's fingerprints on it. I don't know. Especially if somebody just dropped it and weren't trying to plant it. Let's see if it had any prints on it. But now, 3 minutes ago, now 5 minutes ago, I guess, ABC News just said that they cannot confirm it was in a public place at the White House. They said their investigation is going on, and we can't confirm nor deny that it was in the library with a candlestick.
Well, if you remember, Glenn, when the kids were touring Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, they did go to see fizzy lifting drinks in an area they were not actually allowed inside of. So that's like the most likely outcome here is a tourist was on a tour and just went to another part of the White House they weren't allowed to check out to see if they had fizzy lifting drinks, and this was the fizzy lifting drink they found.
And who can't hear Joe Biden right now saying, "And you stole fizzy lifting drinks. You stole, so you lose." Yes.
I could definitely see that.
Who can't hear that?
I have many questions here, Glenn. Many questions. Now, you had mentioned you thought it might be a family member. And
No. I said speculation has been. I'm not suggesting that. Well, I don't know. Let's wait for the facts.
You kept it. You were very careful there. You were so careful that you eliminated no one because every person is a family member of some family. So you've eliminated no one there. Did you jump to the Hunter Biden conclusion immediately? Because I sort of did. I've watched this White House closely. Lots of people there are definitely on cocaine. But I did think just from the sloppiness of the operation, Hunter had to be involved in some way. This would be the perfect statement for him to make after getting a deal for all of his crimes.
They are still looking into it, and they won't divulge all of the details because of their investigation, which will take probably 12 years. But I wouldn't be surprised if we found out 12 years from now that they knew the cocaine came from somebody because the cocaine was found on the belly of a hooker in one of the, in the library or the kitchen or
They're not going to tell
us. Public place.
Let's be honest about it.
No.
They're going to come up with an excuse immediately. These people lie all the time. If Hunter was doing it, off of the counter. They caught him and they kicked him out because they couldn't believe what he was doing. They would come up with this exact excuse. There's no reason to believe anything this White House says about this topic at all. Mm-hmm. It very well could have been hunters. They very well already might know it. But also, Glenn, isn't the White House like the most secure environment in America?
Yes.
There has to be a camera pointed at the place where this cocaine was found. Rewind the footage and look at who put it there.
No. In public places in the White House, you think they put cameras? Come on, Stu. They're not invading people's privacy by putting a camera in the places of the White House where the tours go through all the time. Why would you have a camera there? Now, could there be an open laptop of Hunter's and he happened to be recording at the time? Sure, maybe. But a camera put in by our government to watch places where Americans tour? No way.
Especially after you've made the last 3 years about the ongoing insurrection against our public buildings in Washington, D.C. We saw how many cameras they had inside the Capitol building. Pretty much every single inch of that place has cameras. You're telling me the White House doesn't have similar surveillance?
Of course they do, especially in the public places. They may not have it in the upstairs, in the White House. But I bet you they have it in the stairwells. They might even have it in like the living room of the upstairs of the private residence, just to make sure if the president drops dead, something happens. I don't know. But in the lower level of the White House, absolutely cameras everywhere.
So what, of course, I think we're getting from this is it was found in a private area, right? Because the public area, there's be no excuse.
No.
And the fact that they're leaking out it may not have been in the public area after all. We're all as surprised as you. All of this sort of nonsense that they're leaking out, to me, indicates they know it was in the private area. And they know it was something bigger than some tourist dropping it there. They know it was somebody, we've seen problems with the Secret Service recently. Who knows? God only knows what this could have been.
It could have been theirs.
Could have been theirs. It could have been Joe himself.
Could have been the head of the Secret Service.
Maybe this is why Joe occasionally seems focused. I don't know. Maybe occasionally when Joe does one out of every 15 speeches, he actually has energy. Maybe he is the one doing the cocaine in the White House. That might be the answer here.
No, I don't think it is. But, I'm not saying it isn't.
You're not willing to rule it out.
What I mean?
Come on. You can't possibly rule it out. Have you seen how this guy is governed? Have you seen how, most of the time he's completely asleep, and then every once in a while, like on a debate or something, he has energy for 20 minutes.
Especially at night when he's 9 o'clock Eastern giving the State of the Union address. Come on. Everybody knows he's asleep by 3:30 in the afternoon. He's having dinner at noon. He's having breakfast at 11:30 when he rolls out of bed, dinner at noon, and he's in bed by 1.
So I think what we're saying here is
day.
We can confirm now that Joe Biden is the one who did it. So there you go. Analysis here from the Glenn Beck program. That's the name of the show, the Glenn Beck program.
No, and the views of Stu Bregeer, which may end up in a court of law and him in prison, are not necessarily, and in this case, absolutely not the views of this host.
It's not a joke. It's not a joke. As
no
Joe
joke.
Biden would say.
No joke. Just think of this is really the difference. And I'm not talking about all conservatives. I'm talking about people who revere our country. And there's a lot of conservatives in Washington who are they're all talk and all show. And they don't feel necessarily any different than any progressive feels. But I know a ton of people that are regular citizens that would find that so abhorrent that, you go to the White House and it's It's the room, it's the building where all of the presidents, except I think since Thomas Jefferson, right? All of them. No. Who was the first one? It wasn't Washington, but it's been from the beginning. And it is some place that is just revered and special and sacred. And there's so many people now that are just, I remember that was my biggest problem with Bill Clinton and his shenanigans that were going on. It's like, dude, really? I mean, find a Motel 16. It doesn't have to be a Motel 8 or a Motel 6. You can upgrade. Go to a Motel 16 and do that. Not in the White House. It's just shameful. Just shameful.
We're getting to the point, though, in our country where I would say the Motel 6 is definitely of higher quality than our White House. We're there. I hope people recognize that.
Yeah, we are there.